Maya Chen woke up to silk. Not the cheap kind that slips from your fingers in a thrift store, but the kind that breathes money soft, expensive, sinfully smooth against her skin. For one glorious second, she thought she was dreaming. Then the headache hit. A low, punishing throb behind her eyes that made her regret every decision she'd made since kindergarten. The air smelled of lavender and champagne. The kind of combination that didn't belong anywhere near her life in Brooklyn. Her body was tangled in sheets that weren't hers. Her phone was missing. Her brow was hanging God help her on a lamp. Panic came in waves. Maya wasn't the kind of woman who forgot things. She was the one who planned, who checked, who remembered. Except apparently last night, when she finally dared to open her eyes, sunlight poured through floor-to-ceiling windows, harsh and merciless. The skyline outside was too clean, too perfect, too far from Brooklyn to be home. She sat up slowly, her heart drumming in her chest, and froze. Someone else was in the bed. A woman naked. Her back was turned. Dark hair spilling like ink across the pillow, her bare shoulder rising and falling with slow, peaceful breaths. She was beautiful even from behind, poised, flawless, dangerous. Maya swallowed hard, her throat dry. What the hell? She stumbled out of bed, clutching the sheet around herself like armor. Her brain scrambled for fragments, music, laughter, a glittering ballroom, a glass in her hand, a hand on her waist. And then nothing. She found her jeans half folded on a velvet chair. Her shirt crumpled near a minibar stocked with labels she'd only ever seen on Instagram. Everything screamed wealth and secrecy. When she spotted a remote on the nightstand, she clicked it, desperate for noise to drown out the storm inside her. The TV flared to life. A cheerful morning anchor smiled too brightly. And in just 2 weeks, President-elect Alexandra Sterling will make history as the youngest woman ever elected to the office. Her transition team has not released an official statement since last night's private fundraiser. Maya froze. Her eyes darted toward the bed. The sleeping woman shifted, exhaling softly. The sheet slid down an inch. Maya's pulse spiked. No way. This couldn't be. The woman stirred, stretching like a cat waking from a perfect nap. Then she turned, and Maya's entire body went cold. That face. She'd seen it on every television, every magazine, every social feed. Sharp cheekbones, steel gray eyes, a mouth that could command or seduce with equal ease. President-elect Alexandra Sterling. Oh my God, Maya whispered. Voice cracking. Alexandra blinked, still half asleep. Is that the news? You're the president, Maya stammered. Not yet, Alexandra murmured, rubbing her temple. Technically not for 2 more weeks. Maya's brain short-circuited. She backed up, almost tripping over a Louis Vuitton duffel. What happened last night? Alexandra frowned, looking just as lost. I was hoping you could tell me. Neither of them spoke for a moment. The air was heavy with disbelief. This can't be real, Maya said. I must have hit my head or something. Alexandra sighed. Unfortunately, this is very real. They both said it then at the exact same time. Shit. Chaos followed. Maya hunted for her clothes, muttering apologies to the universe. Alexandra pulled on a robe, flipping through her phone. Why were you even out last night? Maya demanded. Don't you have a country to run? Not until the 20th, Alexandra shot back. I get 1 night off script. Well, Maya muttered, buttoning her jeans. Congratulations. You went completely off script? Then Alexandra froze, looking up sharply. Wait, you're a journalist, aren't you? Maya's stomach dropped. No, well, yes, but not like that. I write about indie filmmakers and local food trucks. This looks a lot like a scandal waiting to happen, Alexandra said coolly. Maya's pulse pounded in her ears. You think I planned this? I don't even remember how I paid for my half of the Uber. Before Alexandra could respond, her phone buzzed again. She glanced down, face tightening. My security detail is in the lobby. Maya froze. Oh God, they can't find me here. Or me like this, Alexandra added grimly. If they do, both our lives are over. What do we do? There's a service stairwell at the end of the hall, Alexandra said quickly. If you can get out unseen, I'll handle the rest. Maya hesitated. And if I can't? Alexandra looked at her, really looked at her. Those steel eyes softened just a little. Then this story becomes a problem for both of us. Maya's chest ached. She nodded. Got it. She gathered her coat, her boots, what remained of her dignity. But before she left, she turned back to the bed. Alexandra was standing by the window, the sunlight catching the line of her jaw. For what it's worth, Maya said softly, you were amazing. Alexandra smirked. Likewise. And just like that, Maya slipped out of the suite, heart hammering, praying she could disappear before the world found out she'd just spent the night with the future president of the United States. She didn't breathe until the elevator doors closed. Her reflection stared back, wild hair, smeared lipstick, fear in her eyes. What the hell did you do, Maya? She whispered. The elevator dinged. She stepped into the service corridor and vanished into the morning. Maya didn't go home right away. She wandered through half-empty Manhattan streets until the city began to wake, neon lights fading into the weak gold of morning. Every noise felt too loud. Every stranger looked like someone who might know. She ducked into a small diner at 6:43 a.m., ordered black coffee, and sat in a corner booth with trembling hands. The world outside carried on as if nothing had happened. But inside her, everything had changed. Her phone was dead. Her mind wouldn't stop replaying fragments, champagne bubbles against her lips, laughter echoing through marble halls, the warmth of someone's touch that felt too familiar for a stranger, and then the moment of recognition, the realization that the woman beside her had the power to move armies and rewrite history. The waitress refilled her cup without asking. Rough night? You have no idea, Maya muttered, when she finally powered her phone back on. It vibrated violently, 12 missed calls from her best friend Zoe, 3 new assignments from editors, and 1 unread message from an unknown number. Let me know when you get home safe. Her breath caught. Alexandra, the president-elect, had texted her. Maya stared at the screen for what felt like hours, unsure whether to laugh, cry, or throw her phone into the nearest trash can. What could she even reply? Thanks for the night of international panic. She closed her eyes. This never happened, she told herself. You'll forget it like a dream, but her heart refused to listen. Across the country, in a private suite at the Hay Adams Hotel, Alexandra Sterling sat on the edge of a bed that still smelled faintly of lavender and something she didn't dare name. Her transition team was waiting downstairs. Cameras, advisors, the next 13 days mapped out to the minute. She should have been memorizing policy briefs, not staring at the indentation on a pillow where Maya's head had rested. She rubbed her temple. God, what have I done? Her assistant, Mariah, was texting nonstop. Madam President-elect, the Energy Summit has been moved to 9 a.m. also. CNN wants a comment on last night's fundraiser. Alexandra dropped the phone face down. Her reflection in the mirror looked perfect, polished, calm, presidential. But beneath the sharp navy suit and flawless makeup, her pulse betrayed her. For years, Alexandra had built her life on discipline. Every word scripted, every emotion trained out of her. There was no space for weakness, no room for want. Until last night. Until her. Maya Chun, freelance journalist. A name Alexandra had seen once before, printed beneath a feature about a community garden in Queens. She had remembered the writing then, honest, compassionate, sharp, a voice that noticed what others ignored. And now she couldn't stop noticing her. 3 days passed. Maya kept her head down, filed stories, ignored Zoe's questions, and drowned herself in coffee and deadlines. But late at night, when her apartment went quiet, she would find herself glancing at the message again. "Let me know when you get home safe." She never replied. But she never deleted it either. One evening, as she left a small restaurant review assignment in Soho, she spotted a black SUV idling across the street. Government plates. Her stomach flipped. The window rolled down slightly. A man in a dark suit leaned out. "Miss Chun?" Maya froze. "Who's asking?" He handed her a sealed envelope. "From the office of the president-elect." Before she could say anything, the car pulled away. Her fingers shook as she tore it open. Inside was a short note, handwritten, looping cursive. "Meet me. 10 p.m. Sunday. The Conservatory Roosevelt Hotel. Use the side entrance. No press, no questions." Amaya's first instinct was to burn the letter. Her second was to frame it. For 2 hours, she paced her apartment, arguing with herself. This was insane, dangerous. A journalist meeting the president-elect in secret? It sounded like the plot of a scandal, but curiosity was its own gravity. The conservatory was empty when she arrived, all glass walls and hanging plants glowing in soft lamplight. Rain tapped against the roof, steady and hypnotic. Maya checked her watch. 10:03. She was about to leave when the side door opened. Alexandra Sterling stepped inside, dressed in a long coat, her hair loose for once. No security, no entourage, just a woman looking entirely too human. "You came," Alexandra said softly. "I shouldn't have," Maya replied. "You shouldn't be here either." "Probably not," Alexandra admitted, lips curving faintly. "But I wanted to see you." The words hung in the air like electricity. Maya crossed her arms. "You're the president-elect?" "I'm nobody." "If anyone sees us, no one will," Alexandra said. "I made sure of it. Why risk it?" Alexandra hesitated. Her eyes, steel and storm, flickered with something fragile. "Because I haven't stopped thinking about you since that night. And I hate not knowing if you feel the same." Mia's breath caught. She wanted to deny it, to protect herself. But the truth slipped out anyway. "I do." A quiet smile broke through Alexandra's composure, brief and devastating. "Then maybe this isn't a mistake after all." For a long time, neither moved. Rain blurred the world beyond the glass. Between them was only silence and the unspoken weight of everything they shouldn't be feeling. Maya finally whispered. "If anyone finds out, they won't," Alexandra interrupted gently. "I just needed one real moment. Away from speeches. Away from eyes. Away from everything that isn't you." Maya's chest tightened. The distance between them felt unbearable. "You make it sound simple." "It's not," Alexandra said. "But I'd give anything for something real, even if it's just this." The rain grew heavier. The sound filled the space like a heartbeat. Maya took one slow step forward. Then another, until she was close enough to feel Alexandra's warmth, to see the faint tremor in her hands. "Alexandra." She began, but Alexandra just shook her head softly, eyes searching hers. "Call me Alex." Maya smiled despite herself. "Alex," she repeated, the name tasting too intimate, too forbidden, and for a fleeting moment, standing under the glass ceiling with the city lights flickering through the rain, they both let themselves forget who they were. Not a journalist and a president. Just two women who had collided at the wrong time and couldn't walk away. Asterisk. The morning of January 20th arrived with snow falling like ash over Washington. D.C. Maya watched from the press enclosure, camera slung around her neck, notebook trembling in her gloved hands. The air buzzed with anticipation, cheers, sirens, the low hum of power shifting hands, And there she was, Alexandra Sterling, stepping onto the Capitol stage in a crisp white coat that made her seem almost celestial, poised, unbreakable. Every camera lens in the world was pointed at her. But Maya saw what others didn't, the faint tremor in her breath before the oath, the small exhale when it was done. The new president of the United States smiled, waved, and stood like a monument to history. And somewhere behind that mask of leadership, Maya knew, was a woman who had whispered, "Call me Alex," under the rain. It had been weeks since the conservatory. No calls, no letters, no sign. Just silence. The kind that hurts more than rejection. Maya told herself it was over. It had to be. People like Alex didn't have the luxury of feelings. Still, when their eyes met, only for a second, across the ocean of security and press, something unspoken flickered between them. Recognition, memory, the impossible. That night, while the world celebrated, Maya sat in her apartment watching the inauguration replay. The screen glowed against her face, showing Alex's speech. Strong, idealistic, perfect. "We are not defined by fear, but by courage," Alex said. "And courage is choosing what is right, even when the world is watching." Maya's eyes burned. She whispered to the empty room, "Then why can't you choose me?" The city outside erupted with fireworks. She turned off the TV. Her phone buzzed once. Unknown number. Room 212. 11 p.m. And Maya's heart nearly stopped. The Willard Hotel was crawling with security. Maya slipped through the service corridor, past waiters and event staff, her pulse loud enough to drown out logic. Room 212's door was slightly ajar. Inside, soft jazz played from a speaker. The curtains were drawn. The air smelled faintly of roses and rain. Alex's perfume. Alex stood by the window, still in her white inauguration coat, shoulders tense, hair slightly undone. When she turned, her eyes were tired but full of warmth that could undo anyone's resolve. "You came," Alex said softly. "I told myself I wouldn't," Maya whispered. "I told myself the same," Alex replied. And yet, for a moment, neither moved. The space between them was full of all the words they couldn't say. "I missed you. I shouldn't be here. I don't care anymore." Finally, Maya broke the silence. "You're the president now? You can't just be human?" Alex interrupted with a small, pained smile. "I thought that's what we're supposed to fight for." Maya looked down. "People will find out." "Then let them," Alex said. "Let them know I felt something real before this job turns me into stone." Maya's breath hitched. She stepped closer, drawn like a tide that couldn't resist the moon. Alex reached out, her fingers brushing against Maya's wrist, the same gentle touch that had haunted both of them for weeks. For a few stolen minutes, the world outside disappeared. No cameras, no headlines. Just two souls trying to hold on to something too fragile to survive power. But even in that quiet, the storm was forming. The next morning, Maya woke up to a phone full of missed calls. One from Zoe, 3 from an unknown Washington number, and one headline notification that froze her blood. Mystery leak, President Sterling linked to secret meetings before inauguration. The article was vague. No names, no photos, but the tone was sharp, suspicious. Someone knew. Someone had seen. Maya's hands shook as she read through it. Every line felt like a noose tightening. Her phone rang again. Zoe's voice cracked through the static. "Maya, what's going on?" "People at my paper are talking about you. They think—" "Don't say it," Maya whispered. "Maya, if this story is true, it's not." Maya snapped too fast. "It's not." But her voice trembled, and they both knew the lie. That evening, Maya received a message from a blocked number. "They know. Don't contact me again." Ash read it 10 times, each word stabbing deeper. Wasn't just an ending. It was a severing. A clean cut meant to save Alex's image, her presidency, her life's work. But for Maya, it felt like being erased. She walked for hours that night through frozen streets until she found herself back at the conservatory, their secret place. The plants were dying in the cold. The rain had turned to snow. She pressed her palm against the glass wall, her reflection blurred by frost. Why does love always come when it's forbidden? She whispered to no one. Outside, sirens wailed somewhere far away, and in that lonely, echoing garden of glass, Maya finally understood their story was beautiful precisely because it could never last. Asterisk. The headlines spread like wildfire. By morning, the rumor had left Washington and reached every major newsroom across the country. President Sterling's secret connection with journalists sparks speculation. Anonymous source claims late-night meeting before oath ceremony. No proof, no photos, just whispers, but whispers were all it took to poison a name. Maya's phone wouldn't stop ringing. Reporters, bloggers, strangers. Her email flooded with messages, some pleading for truth, others filled with threats. She turned it all off, locked herself in her apartment, and sat in the dark. Every noise outside felt like a camera shutter. Every shadow on the wall looked like someone watching. She wanted to believe Alex would reach out, that there would be one message, one sign that their story hadn't been erased entirely. But there was nothing. The silence hurt more than the scandal. Across the city, in the Oval Office, Alexandra Sterling sat surrounded by advisors. Her hands folded tightly on the desk that once belonged to presidents who had started wars, built nations, and broken hearts. Her chief of staff, Michael, was pacing. "We can deny everything, ma'am. Say you met with her for an off-record briefing. No one can prove intimacy." Alex kept her voice steady. "And what about her?" "We handle it quietly. If she stays out of sight, this dies in a week." Alex looked out the window, at the crowds beyond the gates, the flash of cameras, the snow melting on the White House lawn. She said softly, "She's not just her." Michael paused. "Madam President, you need to think of the country." She turned to him, eyes sharp with grief. "I am thinking of the country. That's why I can't protect her." He didn't respond, because they both knew, in politics, love was the most dangerous secret of all. Maya tried to disappear. She deleted her social media, left her apartment at night, wore a cap and mask in public. But the world was cruel to women in stories like hers. Zoe visited once, holding takeout boxes and worry in her eyes. "Maya, they're painting you as the one who seduced her. Like you used her for a story." Maya laughed bitterly. "They always do that, don't they? Make the woman the mistake." "You should defend yourself," Zoe urged. "Tell the truth." Mia stared at the window. "And destroy her career? She worked her whole life for that office." Zoe's voice softened. "And what about your life?" Maya didn't answer. She just looked at her trembling hands. "I think I lost them the night I met her." Weeks turned into months. The scandal quieted, replaced by new crises. But the wound between them remained, silent, deep, unhealed. Maya eventually took a small job at a local paper in Vermont, far from the city. She wrote about rivers, snowfall, the kindness of strangers. The world she built in words was peaceful, but hollow. And sometimes, on quiet nights, she would still receive letters, plain envelopes, no return address, postmarked from DC inside. Always the same thing, a small pressed violet, and one line written in looping cursive. "Still thinking of the rain. No name." But Maya knew. She would sit for hours, tracing the letters, crying without sound. Because even if Alex could never say it, those tiny violets were a secret language, a way of saying I haven't forgotten. Then one morning, nearly a year after the inauguration, Maya turned on the radio and froze. Breaking news from Washington. President Alexandra has been hospitalized after an apparent attack during a public event. Her coffee cup fell from her hand. She didn't even think, she just ran. Packed a small bag, boarded the next train to D.C., and sat in silence as the city grew closer with every mile. The hospital was swarming with security. Maya stood across the street in the cold, watching the flashing lights. Every part of her wanted to rush inside, but she couldn't. She wasn't family. She wasn't even supposed to exist. Hours passed. Reporters gathered. The news said the president was stable but unconscious as the sun began to rise. Maya slipped away to the conservatory, their secret place. The snow had melted, and early spring light poured through the glass. She stood where they had once stood, hands trembling. "Please," she whispered, "please come back." And then, as if carried by the wind itself, her phone buzzed, a message from an unknown number. "The garden still remembers you." A tears blurred her vision. It was impossible. She was awake, alive. Maya smiled through her tears. "You remember too." But fate wasn't finished yet. 2 weeks later, Maya received a final envelope, black seal, gold initials. Inside was a short, handwritten note. "If you're reading this, I've had to make a choice. The world deserves a leader who belongs entirely to it. But you belong to no one. Live free. Love again. Don't wait for me in the rain." Alexandra Maya's heart shattered quietly. She read it once, twice, 3 times, until the ink smudged beneath her tears. Then she placed the letter inside her journal and closed it, gently, like a farewell. Outside, thunder rolled in the distance. The first drops of rain began to fall. Maya walked into the storm without an umbrella, face turned upward, letting the water wash away everything, the fear, the lies, the love that was both salvation and ruin. And somewhere far away, in the White House, Alexandra stood by a window, watching the same rain, whispering the same goodbye. Their worlds would never meet again. But every time it rained, both women would pause, hearts aching, memories alive, knowing that for one brief forbidden moment in history, they had found something real, something worth losing everything for. Years later, Maya published a book, The Garden Beneath the Storm. It was about truth, silence, and the courage to love even when love must remain hidden. On the dedication page were only 4 words. For always the rain. And though the world never learned the full story. Those who read between the lines could feel it, the ache of 2 souls that had touched once, beautifully, impossibly, and left their fingerprints on history, asterisk,